So picture this. You're, say, 29 years old. You've been saving up for what feels like forever, right? Sacrificing those nice vacations, skipping dinners out, and finally, you actually have enough for a down payment. Your friends are thrilled for you. Your parents are super proud, telling everyone you're finally investing instead of just throwing your money into that endless renting abyss. The bank approves the mortgage, the realtor hands over the keys, and boom, you cross the threshold into the world of homeownership. Well, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unpack exactly what it means to cross that threshold and why this ultimate symbol of financial success might not exactly what it seems.
Man, we hear this all the time, don't we? Renting is throwing money away. Houses literally always go up. It is just this deeply ingrained cultural belief that buying a house is absolutely the smartest financial decision you will ever make. So most of us gladly sign up for 30 years of fixed payments without even a second thought. I mean, if the bank approved you, surely you can afford it, right? You're a homeowner now. You're building wealth.
Okay, but let's actually dive into this. Does it? Does buying a house automatically build wealth? Because, eventually that first major repair bill hits. Then your property taxes jump up. Then your insurance premium basically doubles overnight. And quietly in the background, the interest you're paying to the bank starts to cost more than the house itself. So here's the really uncomfortable reality we're exploring today. Yes, a home can absolutely build wealth, but it can also become literally one of the most expensive lifestyle purchases you'll ever make. The whole shebang depends entirely on the numbers behind the front door.
Section 1. 4 types of homes. Not all real estate is created equal.
First up, we have what's called the consumption home. Think about the typical family setup for a second. This is where most of us actually live. You buy it, you paint the walls, maybe you raise some kids there, it provides security, it provides stability, but its main purpose isn't really making you money, right? It's about improving your everyday life. And hey, that is perfectly fine, but you absolutely have to realize it's a lifestyle purchase first and an investment second. Then we've got type number 2, the appreciation bet. This is the one where people really stretch their budgets, crossing their fingers that the house will double in value. And sometimes it actually does, but other times it barely squeaks past inflation or prices might even fall for years. The return on this type of home relies on one thing way more than anything else, and that is location.
Now the third type is totally different, the cash flow property. The big shift here is that this isn't your home, it's someone else's. And because they are paying rent and actually producing income for you, this property behaves entirely differently. The game completely changes from personal consumption into a true, actual business venture.
And finally, type 4, the forced savings machine. Honestly, this is the main reason people automatically call housing wealth. Every single time you make that mortgage payment, you're slowly increasing your ownership. You are basically forced to save money every month. Now, that's not because you suddenly develop like Warren Buffett-level financial discipline. It's simply because the bank requires it. People so often confuse this forced good behavior with investing genius.
Section 2. The true cost of buying. What you are actually purchasing.
Let's break down what you're actually buying. First, there's the land, which, usually appreciates. But the structure sitting on top of it, that is quietly depreciating every single year as roofs get old and pipes start leaking. Then you've got the mortgage. And remember, bank approval absolutely does not equal affordability. The bank is just asking, can this person make the payment? Not will this payment make them wealthy? Add in the property taxes you're going to be billed for forever, insurance premiums that shoot up dramatically without your permission, and of course, maintenance. Because let's face it, every single part of your house has a ticking lifespan. Which leads us to a concept I like to call the silent invoice. It's the perfect metaphor for that maintenance element that almost everyone forgets about. Unlike your mortgage, this invoice never arrives on a neat, predictable schedule. No, it usually shows up as a busted water heater at 2 a.m. on a holiday weekend. But make no mistake, that bill always arrives.
Let's actually put some real numbers to this to see how it works. Say you are buying a $450,000 home. Sounds pretty simple, right? But let's look at the real, raw math required to actually get your foot in the door.
Just picture the sheer amount of cash we're talking about here. A standard 20% down payment, that is $90,000 before you even get the keys. Throw in closing costs, which run about $11,400. Then moving, grabbing some new furniture, getting window coverings so the neighbors can't see in, landscaping, that is easily another $18,600. Add it up, and that's $120,000 you have spent before you've even had your first night's sleep in the new house. People always want to compare their rent directly to just a monthly mortgage payment, but that is totally the wrong comparison. You have to compare renting to the total absolute cost of ownership.
Section 3. The Real Wealth Engine.
following the money upstream.
You know, buying a home kicks off one of the absolute biggest financial ecosystems you will ever enter. Your dollar doesn't just go to the seller, though they hopefully walk away with a profit. It trickles out to the real estate agents, who split tens of thousands in commissions. Then comes the title company, the appraiser, the local government, the contractors, the hardware stores. Literally every one of them earns a slice of your dream home.
But here is the absolute kicker: the lender's role. We think we're buying a house, but honestly, the bank is selling money. The house is just the collateral they hold on to in case things go wrong. Over a standard 30-year loan, depending on where interest rates are at, the total interest you end up paying can rival or sometimes even exceed the original purchase price of the home itself.
Think about how this actually plays out over time. Every single monthly payment you make does two things. It pays down the interest, and it reduces your actual loan balance. That second part, that's equity. It's the slow shift of ownership from the bank over to you. But in the early years of a 30-year mortgage, a massive share of your payment goes entirely toward the bank's interest, while your actual equity barely creeps up. The real wealth engine in real estate isn't some perfect market timing. It's just time. Now, while you're sitting there waiting for time to do its heavy lifting, you are carrying a whole bunch of risks that renters literally never have to think about. The AC fails, taxes go up, and importantly, there's a huge opportunity cost. All that cash from your down payment is locked tight inside walls and concrete, which means it can't be invested anywhere else. Your house might make you look like a millionaire on paper, but it totally lacks liquidity. You can't just sell off a spare bedroom to pay next month's bills. At the end of the day, cash flow, not a million-dollar house on a piece of paper, is what actually guarantees financial freedom.
Section 4. Renting versus buying, the variable that changes everything.
It all comes down to time. Look at year one. You've got those brutal transaction costs: buying, selling, moving, commissions. If you're someone who moves every 3 or 4 years, those costs will absolutely punish you and eat up any gains. But look further out, to year 10 or year 20. If you stay put for a decade or longer, the math entirely flips. Your loan shrinks, and inflation actually ends up reducing the real burden of your fixed monthly payment. Patience really is the ultimate variable here.
Let's do a quick comparison over a 20-year span. We've got Jordan, who buys a house, diligently paying the mortgage, property taxes, and those occasional massive repair bills. Then we have Alex, who decides to rent but, and this is crucial, strictly invests the extra money they would have spent on all those homeownership costs. Fast forward 20 years. If Jordan stayed put and kept costs under control, they've built some really substantial equity. But if Alex consistently invested those savings, they might also have built massive, highly liquid wealth in the market.
So this brings us to the core takeaway of our explainer today. Neither path automatically guarantees you're going to be rich. The difference isn't simply renting versus buying. The real difference is whether your financial choices leave you enough room to save, to invest, and to actually weather whatever surprises life throws at you. A house is not some magic wealth machine. It's literally just a financial tool. Used wisely, it is a phenomenal asset, but used carelessly, it is an incredibly expensive lifestyle purchase.
So next time someone gives you that old renting is throwing money away line, just keep the whole picture in mind. Real estate can activate immense financial ecosystems, and it can silently drain your cash flow if you aren't careful. I want to leave you with this final, really important thought to chew on. The goal isn't to own the biggest house. The goal is to own your future. So does your current housing strategy actually let you do that? Thanks so much for joining